Yeah, definitely the one of the top things. It's funny because I did a talk last week, and we do mini dates when I do these talks for this one meetup group.
Okay.
To practice what we're talking about. And so the number one thing is also how I have people frame their online dating profile. It's like, don't talk about, like you love your friends and family and traveling and movies and the weekend.
She's like, don't say that, but we're like,
because
don't.
Everyone loves those things.
But it's those things, though,
in dating. But on your online dating profile, right? Yeah. Like, you don't want to be generic. So the same thing with your online dating profile. It's like, start with, what are you excited about? What do you love about your life right now? Yes. What's your favorite? Fill in the blank. Your favorite trip.
Where do you like going to eat if you both have a food fetish, you know?
Totally. So I said, bring that to the date as well. It's like, okay, so share, like, what's your favorite blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. So, and one of the things I'm getting from both of you as well is be present. Be present instead of already being in the future as to where is this going. Because I find that with a lot of people, and I'm guilty of doing it myself. Because you're there in the first date, and like you say, you're like, can I see myself doing this? Can I see myself doing that with this person? But when you're present, it's a different energy that's created and a different dynamic between you and that person. So when you're not in your head, because when you're in your head into the future, you're certainly not here anymore.
Yeah,
so that person can't really engage you on that level, and nor can you engage them that way. So that's what I'm also hearing from you too, is kind of be in the moment of what you're doing, just what's really going on in your life right now.
Right now.
Exactly. It's so funny because one of the girls asked me that last week. Well, what if I'm really excited to go to Paris in 2 months, and then what about when I come back? I'm like, then you can say, I'm so excited about this trip that I went to Paris. Like, you should be updating your profile all the time.
Yeah.
Like, it should be current. It should accurately reflect you right now. And another thing that I found that I did on dates when I was such a jerk and hating dating, it's never a coincidence, right? It was like, I would sit on the date and be thinking about, okay, the things that I want and the things that I'm looking for. And instead of like looking to check boxes, I was looking for, how are they not that?
Yes.
So that I don't have to open up and really say anything about, because if I discount you right away, then
we're done. We'll just get through it. Yeah.
So a do that I bring in is like, what's great about this person? Just forget about you and your list or your expectations. Like, what's really great about this person? And what about this date feels good? Yeah. I say all you need to know after the first date is like, was it fun? Would I want to know this person more? And if about 70%, because it's never going to be 100%, like rarely do we meet someone and it's like, absolutely for sure. And then you never have a question anyways. You know it's a yes. When you know it's absolutely a no, that's clear. But it's that whole middle area of like, I'm not sure. Uncertainty should be there. That's a natural part of the dating process.
But give people chances. So during my speed dating events, in the beginning speech, I always tell people that, because when I get back their cards, a lot of them are maybes, and they leave them blank, right? So I try to encourage people that when there is a maybe, then make it a yes, because you never know, right? Sometimes you'll meet someone and they can actually really grow on you. And definitely that's the case for women when it comes to men. A man can really grow on a woman depending on how he treats her, right? She might overlook, okay, well, he's not exactly what I'm looking for looks-wise, but he's such a sweetheart. Like, he treats me like gold, he rubs my feet, he rubs my back. These are things I like.
Thank you.
He brings me coffee on the weekends, like just sweet things, and women can really fall in love with a man. Whereas a man is more visual. Either like you do it for him in the beginning, or it's harder. It can happen, but it's harder for him to fall in love later on with a woman. He has to really be attracted to her, I think. What do you think?
Yeah, well, that's actually the good news that I always tell my female clients. Like, a man is not going to go out with you if he doesn't think you're attractive.
Right.
Yeah. Period. So you're already in with him. But with women, we have this awesome thing because we're emotionally connected first, and then our physical attraction actually builds. So people will get a lot more attractive as we get to know them and their personalities. Like, I honestly, my guy, who I knew for almost a year before we got together, who I would have completely discounted, I think he's like the sexiest man alive. And I would have never thought that if he just like walked into a room. There wasn't like sparks.
You see, they grow on you. They're like a chia pet. You water them for a while, they'll grow.
In the best way.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's what I tell them. I say it's a coffee date. Don't spend more than an hour. It's not a big deal, and then you'll know whether or not you want to see them again, and then something may progress. But there might be something that with that hour that you go out with them that totally turns you off, that is a non-negotiable, that you're just like, okay, I'm not doing this, you
This
know?
is not gonna work.
But definitely give people chances. And yeah.
So, okay, couple of questions for you guys. Sex on the first date, yes or no?
No. You kidding me? This is a temple.
The thing is, if that's what you're looking for,
Yes.
if you're honestly like, I'm just get out there. Like, I had a client who was like, she was married for 20 plus years, never dated. She's like, I really want to discover myself sexually. I'm like, okay, great. If you're not looking for a long-term serious relationship and you're out for discovering yourself sexually, brilliant.
Yes.
But you actually want to get on the same page about that before you have sex. Like, great. I'm looking for having a fun time and you know, exploring sex, adventure, fun. Great. If you're both on the same page, then great, have sex. But if you're looking for something long-term, committed, which is most people that probably work with us,
Then no.
All right.
no.
And you know what? The thing is and that's another thing I get. I was talking to a lady this morning. That's probably why I was late a little bit today. She kept going on and on and on about how she's trying to find someone. She wants to join my matchmaking service, and that all she's getting is guys that just want to have sex with her. And this is a common problem. Like, you're meeting guys online, and then they're sending you to another site that where they can chat with you, and then they're sending you the pictures of their penises and stuff, like dick pics they call them, right? And it's like it's a phenomenon. I think it's a problem. And then I talk to men, and they're like, well, women do the same thing. If you want, I have all these pictures of women on my phone. I mean, for my brother, for instance, he's got all these women that send him these naked pictures and stuff, and it's like, okay, I guess they're looking for sex. So people are putting it out there more. So guys are getting more like, okay, well, you know what? I've just been through a marriage. That sucks. She sucked everything out of me. Like, I'm broke now. So I just want to go out and have sex because I don't want someone to do the same thing to me again. So this is what the problem. This is what's happening right now. So if you want to explore sex, what she said, fine. Like, do whatever you want. Nobody should judge you. But if you want to look for a serious relationship, I wouldn't, because guys look at that. Guys that want the same thing are like, well, who is she having sex with before me, you know? Is she doing this all the time? So I would wait a little bit. Plus, the man's the hunter. He wants to hunt you down. So give him something to hunt. Don't give it all away right away. It's no fun for him.
Now, I have a little bit of a bone to pick with that because, well, I'm just curious because why don't we look at that with men that are so quick to sleep with you too? Like, I'll be honest, when I was more so into that type of dating, if a guy was to sleep with me on the first date, I kind of lose interest because I'm thinking, if that's all you've got to lead with, if that's sort of where you're at, then probably it's not
unattractive.
A match. So I feel like, you know, in all fairness, because we've gone through years, hundreds, I feel like, of years of, and I believe your body is your temple. But I believe a man's body is also his temple.
Right.
And the way that he carries himself is also indicative of, you know, sort of how he feels about himself. And a lot of times I find that men don't see a lot more in themselves than their penis. Like, a lot of them think that that's what they have to offer. And I just think it's still a bit of a double standard that's going on.
Yep.
And I'd like to, you know, invite the viewers, both male and female, to see yourselves, whether you're a man or a woman, to see your body as a temple and take that time to decide who you want to share it with and know what you have to offer on the inside. And it goes back to what you said about, you know, taking that time to know yourself, know who you are, and know your own worth and know your own value, because until you know that, it's very difficult for you to share something that you don't know exists. So if you don't see the worth in you, how am I going to see it?
Oh, completely.
And sometimes we do, right? We do
Yes.
see the worth in people and they don't see it in themselves. That's a sad case. But you're like, you have so much potential. You could be such a...
Yes.
Oh, never mind.
So true. Well, you can, it's like, it's
so
impossible
true.
to convince. The best thing that this whole thing about sex and dating is something that I also personally struggled with a lot, because I mean, when you talk about men and, you know, with their association with their penis and what they have to offer, is like, it's all in like what's set up in society as like the norms. Like, men should be ready to have sex all the time. They should want to have sex all the time. It's like, you know, like that's their thing. And and I find that a lot of women don't really know themselves sexually that much. And So the best thing that I've heard about sex is that great sex happens the next day. Dr. Stephen DeWitt always says this. And that, so if you wake up in the morning the next day and you're like, that was great, that was fun, it was empowering, like I love that, then great, that was the right thing for you. But if you wake up, so I find that with men, I think they wake up a lot of times the next day, no issues, no regrets, no concerns.
Yeah, and they look over and go, "You're still here? What are you doing here?"
But then there's a lot
for
of men.
breakfast. I gotta go. And
There
then
is,
feel
though.
like this big.
There are men that are like, no, I'm not interested in sleeping together right away. They would rather wait. And I've met these men also. So it's so funny because we always hear, I hear from women all the time, is that all that men want? Like, is sex the number one thing? So oftentimes men are happy to have sex. They're interested in sex. If you're interested, open and willing, they're a yes.
Yes.
But not if they think you don't want to.
Yeah,
Right.
That's
exactly.
really, really huge. So, but the women, like, we are the ones that have to say.
Yeah.
So if you find that you're someone who has in the past woken up the next day and been like upset or regret or shameful or I wish I would have just waited a bit longer, then that's your cue for you.
Yeah.
Right.
And
if you can't tell in the moment,
if
we
you
can
can't
be
tell
so,
in the moment, because we're hoping you can tell in the moment that this is what you want. Because I feel like sometimes women do it because they're afraid. They're afraid if they don't, they won't get the second call back.
Or maybe they're just
They
horny and they haven't had sex in a while.
Yeah. Right. And it's
Yeah,
just
seems like a good idea.
Right?
Like, I'm an adult. I
And
can
they're
make this
feeling
choice.
it, like they're like, this guy is so sexy, and it feels really
like,
good, and it feels right, and it feels like he's into me.
yes.
But I don't
Which
know.
and the thing is,
wait.
it's like, but then which is okay. My kind of rule of thumb or my advice on it is, if you're just know how you're going to feel about it, whether he calls you the next day or not, whether
Yes.
there's breakfast waiting or not. When you're doing it, whether he's going to look over at you and be like, "Why are you still here?"
Yeah.
kind of thing. If you're going to still feel good about your choice, knowing that, that's when I would say, okay, then go for it. But if that's a no for you, then I would say, pick up your purse, go take a cold
But it
shower,
really depends
pull
as
out your
well.
tools, and go home.
Well, it really depends as well. Like if you really like this guy and the date's going well, and you've been single for a long time, and you've had a hard time meeting someone, then I would still suggest you wait.
Yeah.
Don't ruin it because you're taking a chance by having sex with him. I really believe that.
Okay, fair enough. And what you believe,
I really
and you
believe
are an
that.
expert, so
Well, just from my experiences in life, as well as just what I do for a living and hearing stories for so many years, and usually it doesn't go well.
Yeah.
It does sometimes, and interviewing tons of guys too on this topic, right?
Yeah.
A lot of them are just like, well,
What about like it getting to feel the chemistry though? Because it's sort of in my mind, it's kind of like a try before you buy type of deal. So
Well, that's
great.
that's a
But
really good
wait.
point.
yeah,
Because chemistry, it's so funny because a lot of women will say, well, if I don't have sex, and they just keep like a total distance. Like there's no touching, there's no exploring
Yeah.
of chemistry. So that's a really good point. It's like still kiss, still touch, still
Yeah.
like you have to plug the plug into the socket to see if
Right.
there's electricity there.
That's
yeah,
And take it slow.
right.
I find that a lot of people, you've probably seen this too, Laura. A lot of people think, okay, we'll just do this whole friends first thing. Like, we'll have a friendship first, and then we'll establish things, and then it's a safe foundation for us to have a relationship, which just builds in lots of ambiguity and
No, there has to be touching and kissing.
there has to be there has to be
Feeling,
intention
yeah,
for
right, okay.
Of
creating
course.
something.